Joel, thank you for coming on the Million Ways to Millions podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I love the show where we go through and just kind of give the stories of people who have built wealth in a variety of ways. And so I love your story of the whole Airbnb route that you've taken up here in Two Harbors, Minnesota. And thank you for letting us use your Airbnb.
We get to do it here at one of the Airbnbs.
Yeah, so what a great, beautiful property. It's awesome. I wish I could. I'll probably show people around a little bit. But
that'd be awesome. The Woodland Retreat.
Woodland Retreat. Yeah. And then what was your guys' page on Airbnb?
The page is called the North Shore.
North Shore.
It's www.airbnb.com/p/North Shore.
P North Shore. Awesome.
Yep.
Love it, man. Well, I would love to get into it. So give me a quick overview of what does your current portfolio look like? And then we can kind of dive into how you built it.
Yeah. So we went from having one house to having 13 doors, 6 Airbnbs, 3 long-term rentals in 28 months.
Amazing. And at this point, what do you got?
And right now we have one less than that. We sold one of them.
Perfect. Love it, man. Awesome. So you got a bunch of Airbnbs, and I know you went to the point where you started managing a bunch of other people's Airbnbs.
Yeah, we had got up to 24, managing 24 units.
And then you're like, okay, this little bit, scale back a little bit.
We scaled back.
That's fantastic. Which that's a great way to do it. But now you're at the point where you're just financially independent. Like you have a job now, but it's a job that you chose because you have the kind of the flexibility because of the Airbnbs and this whole real estate journey you went on.
Yeah,
and that's awesome, man. And I think that's a place that a lot of people want to get to. Not necessarily where they can go sit and do nothing, but where their work is an option, their work is pleasure.
Yeah,
it's awesome. All right, well, let's kind of walk through. So, how did you get into the idea of, buying real estate, or how did you get the idea of getting into Airbnbs? Kind of take me back. How did that first property happen?
Well, I've been watching and been a part of the Bigger Pockets YouTube videos, listening to Brandon, the book. Rich Dad Poor Dad was a big influence to me, and I had always wanted to own a duplex, and we put our house up on Airbnb right in 2017. 2018.
That was the first one.
The first one.
Okay.
Should I talk about that?
Yeah, here, let's talk about, because you had mentioned before we started recording, kind of like this little journey that forced you into this property that ended up becoming your first Airbnb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you tell me that story again? Like, how did that all come about?
So we were going to buy a house on 2 acres in Two Harbors with a Lake Superior view, and the house fell through because there was a septic issue, and we didn't realize that until after closing. And so I was going to be homeless with my wife and 2 kids. And so my boss at the marketing agency I was working at said, why don't you move into our 1-bedroom or our 2-bedroom duplex and put your stuff into this 4-car garage and stay there while you renovate this Victorian foreclosure you bought. So we ended up quickly buying a foreclosure in town
that you had originally planned on getting into.
Just we had quickly, we realized we were going to be homeless, and so we looked on the market and we were like, okay, what house could we buy? And there was this Victorian foreclosure, and we were like, hey, can we go look at this with our realtor? And they were like, well, there's an offer, but they countered, so there's time for you to get an offer.
There's hope.
There's time for you to get an offer on it. So we went in, quick looked at it. We're like, this is disgusting. Sure, we'll put an offer on it.
So wait, because the first house you had gotten was like turnkey ready, the dream home.
Yeah, it was like the dream home we were going to move into.
What made you okay with like going about buying this foreclosure that needed a crap ton of work?
Desperation to move into a house.
You're just pushed
because the rentals are so hard to find in the area.
Yeah. So how big is Two Harbors?
Two Harbors is a town of like 3,800 people.
Yeah, there we go, smaller town.
Yeah.
I grew up in a town of 1,000, so I definitely understand.
So you understand.
Yeah, and the first apartment building is in that town as well.
Oh, okay.
So definitely understand the small rental market too. So
yeah,
you were kind of pushed to the brink of like, okay, we got to go find a house. you put an offer on this foreclosure
We
last
put an
minute.
offer, and so we knew that the person that had put an offer on it were going back and forth. So we knew that they were offering less than asking. So we said, well, we'll just put a full price offer on, but they
There you
pay
go.
closing. So it was $112,500
Awesome. So 112,500.
and needed a lots of work. Roof was caving in on. Pus was coming down. Water had come down in the back entryway, and carpet was disgusting. The whole house needed paint. Light fixtures everywhere.
Every real estate flipper's dream.
Every real estate flipper's dream.
But
yes.
you didn't
But
think of
I'm
yourself.
not a handy man.
That was your plan.
My dad was a pastor. We didn't grow up with screwdrivers and greasy fingers. Like,
that's awesome. Awesome. So you buy this house, you start fixing it up.
Yep.
And so how long did it take you guys to kind of give it livable?
It took us 4 months to get it livable.
Perfect. Yep.
But about 2 years we owned it, and we're buying stuff on Marketplace and turning it into this beautiful home.
Yeah.
2,200 square feet, Victorian, and we just dressed it up and had all the furniture that matched and the walls and everything. My wife did an amazing job interior design work. So
obviously she's very talented.
She is very talented. So it turned into this beautiful home. Our friends come and visit, and they're like, Joel and Chelsea, you should put this house on Airbnb. It would do really well. And I was like, Chelsea, I told you.
I've been telling you, babe.
This would be awesome. We should do that. So it happened to be right before Memorial Weekend, which is the beginning of Airbnb season on the North Shore.
Love it.
And we decided, okay, let's try it. So we take pictures, put it up on Airbnb, did a 3-night minimum right at the get-go. And lo and behold, every weekend and even some full weeks book that entire summer.
And you were renting out the house you were living in.
This is the house we were living in with our 2 kids. And we're packing up our belongings, putting our sock drawers away, and leaving our house and having people move in.
Where are you living when people come and stay in your house?
So I have family in the Twin Cities, all over. And so we would go stay at my grandma's, we'd go stay at her parents, we'd go stay at my parents, and we would just go hang out with family.
Well, what did your family think of this when they're like,
they thought we were like nuts.
Yeah, they're like, hey, I'm going to go live with you guys for a second.
Absolutely crazy.
Strangers are living in my house right now.
They thought we were absolutely crazy. But the amount of money we were making, we were going, we're not crazy.
I'm not saying no to this 3-night minimum booking. And
right,
you're making
at $300 and some a night.
Awesome.
Right. So it was proof of concept.
Yeah.
We were going, oh my gosh.
Yep, this can happen.
There is a demand here. People aren't destroying our home. We're leaving our sock drawers out. Our socks aren't missing when we get back. Like, people are taking care of our people are taking care of our home. We're coming back and it's clean. It's not destroyed. They're not partying. And we're going, okay.
Yep, this is it.
Like, we can do this. And so towards the end of the summer, so we made like $15,000 in the summer moving out of our home.
Yep.
And then I was flipping motorcycles that summer too. I flipped $50,000 worth of motorcycles that summer.
So, and this kind of goes into how you afforded the down payment in the first place for that first house.
Right, with the first duplex.
And so that first house you guys bought, you were flipping motorcycles to kind of help with the down payment. You're a handy guy? You said you weren't a handy guy.
I'm not a handy guy. I know handy people. And I know how to do oil changes on motorcycles.
There you go.
And I know how to do elbow grease. So I would clean them up.
Clean them up.
So I would like buy... I'm a negotiator. I'm in sales. And so I knew how to buy low and sell high. And so I would buy motorcycles and I'd negotiate them low. I'd buy them. I'd go get them. I would be willing to drive 2 hours into markets that are far away. I'd bring them into markets that are busier. And I'd be willing to deliver for free. I would just hustle.
Yeah. And then you'd bring in a mechanic friend.
I would bring my mechanic friends in to fix them up.
And then you sell them.
And I'd sell them.
That's awesome. And so where are you typically selling them? In Duluth or something?
Yeah, I'd go to the Iron Range. I'd drive 2 hours to go pick up a motorcycle. Yeah. I'd find one for $1,800, and some guy would be willing to pay me $3,200 for the same bike. And sometimes they needed no work.
That's awesome.
I just was hustling.
Got the first down payment. Got the first Airbnb. That started
So we
cash
did
flowing.
a home equity line of credit on the Victorian.
Okay.
We had a home equity line of credit of like $35,000.
Perfect.
And so when the first duplex came up, I was in Elk River at my mom's house, and I saw the listing, and it was for $129,000. And I called my realtor and I said, write an offer for this duplex, full price. They pay closing, and I'll sign it, sight unseen. I want it. I want that duplex.
Bold. Very bold. I love it.
I bought it like I bought motorcycles.
It's like,
I'm on my way with cash. I'll buy it.
that's probably the dream phone call for a realtor of like, oh yeah, perfect.
Yep. Write it up.
So 125, you said?
129
129, perfect.
for a duplex.
Awesome.
They listed it as 1,700 square feet. It ended up being 2,400 square feet.
Pretty lucky for a sight unseen.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so then this comes into your second and third.
There was renters already in there.
Oh, okay.
There was renters upstairs, renters downstairs. So we were just buying it. We were just, we'll raise the rent so that it cash flows and we're
Sure.
going to be fine. Well, the upstairs tenants move out the first month we bought it. We're like, well, I guess that's our first Airbnb that we're not going to be moving out of. But
well, how convenient.
It needed renovation work.
Okay.
So we raised the lower tenant's rent, which ends up being enough to pay the mortgage and utilities. So that pays it for itself, cash flow. So that's a wash.
Yep.
And then I started flipping motorcycles. Granite kitchen goes in. We pull the drop ceiling down, put new carpet in. Chelsea paints all the walls, all new electrical. Boom, Airbnb goes in.
Love it. That's awesome, man.
So what I didn't tell you is up to this point, the first 11 years of our marriage, we paid off all of our personal debt.
Awesome.
So I now have a salary coming in and we're living simply. So between my salary being good and us living simply and us now having no debt, I have a good salary coming in and I have Airbnb money coming in, and we don't have car payments. We don't have any debt, personal debt. So we're able to roll the money that we're making into these properties.
Awesome.
I can sell a motorcycle and just throw this money at stuff and it doesn't affect us.
And so you said you got the line of credit. So you have some debt associated with the investments, but nothing on your personal.
Correct.
I love it. That's awesome. I think that's definitely the best way to go about it, because especially when you're getting started with real estate or business or any of this sort of stuff, when your income is less, being able to simplify your living, being able to be conservative, and not having all these extra payments that require you to then take that Airbnb money where you could have been saving up for the next one to then go spend it, paying interest only payments on a credit card or some crap like that.
Right.
Yeah. That's awesome. Way to go. So now you got the second one, you got the Airbnb, the duplex, the first level up and running.
Yep.
Through motorcycle flipping money.
Yep.
I love it.
Well, and then we found the house that we're living in now because we wanted to get out of the Victorian because
cash flowing like crazy.
Cash flowing like crazy. So we found a HUD foreclosure, and we put an offer on it, and we said that we would homestead it.
Okay.
Do you know how HUD foreclosures work?
No.
If you say you're going to homestead a HUD foreclosure, you better homestead it for a minimum of 1 year, or they'll come back and fine you.
Okay.
Or
for a HUD foreclosure.
For a HUD foreclosure.
Because this is different than just like a Fannie Freddie 5%, 5 or 3.5% down house. This is a HUD foreclosure.
They'll send someone to your house and check your mailbox to see if your mail says your name on it, and they did.
Dang.
Yeah, because they want it to go to someone to go to someone that's actually living there.
Because you're buying it from HUD specifically. Yeah, there you go.
So we put an offer on this house, but we knew it had flooded. And everyone knew it had flooded, so no one wanted to buy it. And they were asking $149 for it, and we put an offer for $120, $112, $5. We lowballed HUD.
Yeah, like 30 grand. Yeah.
We lowballed HUD.
Hey, flood damage, man. Like,
we all know.
What are you gonna do?
And you go into the house, and a pipe's hanging down, and so like no one wanted to touch the house. No one wanted to pay $150 for it.
Oh yeah.
For no one, because HUD maybe knew that. Later we found out it was all good. There was only like some pipe bursts over in the corner here that were easy to fix.
But you didn't know that when
but
you
no
bought
one
it.
knew.
Yeah,
And a foreclosure,
yeah.
no one's turning the water back on until you buy it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so we put an offer for 112.5, and they countered 147.
Because they said it was listed at
149.
Oh wow, dropped $2,000. Very nice.
Yeah, that was nice of them. So we didn't respond to their counter. So 2 months go by, and so that was in like February. May comes around. I get off an airplane from traveling. I look at my email, and it says, "Congratulations, your offer's been accepted." And I'm like, "What offer's been accepted?"
2 months later, yeah.
I scroll up. Our 112.5 offer had been accepted.
Sometimes patience is
to
key.
This HUD home. And I was like, I guess we're moving.
That's awesome.
And I sure hope this flooded house is going to be okay.
How did you convince your wife to do all of this? Rent out the house you're living in, buying it.
I'm just making offers on houses because we're buying houses, honey.
Gotta take your phone away from me.
This is the mode we're in.
That's awesome.
We're in buying home mode. So,
and how long after the duplex purchase was this third house?
So I have it all written down. So that was.
I'm gonna check this camera really quick. I'm getting super paranoid. Oh, we're good.
So the first duplex was December 2018.
Okay.
And then this one was July of 2019.
December 2018, July 2019. There you go.
Yep.
Well, you almost waited a year.
And then the next duplex we roll around was on the corner of the same block we live on.
Okay, cool. The new foreclosure house?
Yeah, so the new foreclosure house, we bought this one in October of 2019.
Nice.
We pull up, and there's these big, huge trees growing, all green, gross siding, windows disgusting, for sale sign in the yard. And we drive by, my mom's in town. She goes, "Oh, Joel, what about this house?" Because she knows we're in house buying mode. Yeah. And I was like, "Fine, I'll call." This is a true story. So I call the number, or I call Ruth, my realtor. I was like, "Hey, Ruth, tell me this. What's the story on this house? Because it's not on Zillow yet."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, it's not on Zillow yet. It's not on the thing. Let me call the realtor." Calls the realtor. She's like, "Oh, it's a duplex. They want $70,000 for it." I'm like,
and
give me a showing.
So how much did you pay for the duplex you already owned?
$129,900.
That's why you're like, $70,000.
There's
a lot of renovation room there.
I'm like, there's room here. And I was like, and it's right down the block from my house. I'm like, give me a showing.
Oh no, I suppose.
We go upstairs. There's no renters. It's not even inhabitable. It's disgusting.
Oh, yep.
Needs everything. Downstairs, tenants already there. Two old, elderly lady, elderly man. And they've been renting for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Way grossly under, the rent's way low.
Mm-hmm.
So, full price offer.
There you go. Yeah, $70,000.
Full price. What are you gonna argue with?
Now, did you pay cash for this one?
This one we did a construction loan.
Okay,
and they only required 10% down, so $7,000 down.
So you bought a house for $7,000.
$7,000. And I cash out refinanced it at the end, and I got like $10,000 back.
There you go.
So I got a house for free.
That's awesome. And then the construction on this one, this is cash flow from Airbnbs.
This was a construction loan, right?
So, that's right.
So I ended up doing. I still probably spent maybe $10,000-15,000 out of pocket.
Love it,
which was fine. But I ended up financing like $124,000 on the house.
That's awesome. So it's not like you're like really putting large sums of money down. You're just finding these strategic opportunities because $7,000, and that this covers your entire construction cost too.
Right.
That's incredible. Yeah. So being clever, I like it.
So I Airbnb the upstairs, did a custom kitchen. It's only a small, like 550 square feet, 1 bedroom.
Okay.
But I built I had a local guy build custom hickory cabinets, Did a custom maple countertop,
Yeah.
stainless steel appliances, custom, really nice furniture.
So you really like kind of go all out with
It's
each
the
of these.
honeymoon suite. People honeymoon in that unit.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
And so, getting into all these Airbnbs and you're doing all these renovations? What's kind of your mindset when it comes to the renovation for a successful Airbnb?
I go, there's original hardwood floors. So I'm using, Lakeview flooring out of Duluth. He does the best job out there for
Okay.
refinishing hardwood floors. And I'm doing construction grade finishing.
Okay.
I'm doing, the most expensive paint that I can find at the local hardware store.
Okay.
So I'm doing high-end paint. I'm going new fixtures. I'm fixing all the cracks in all the plaster walls with a screwdriver exposing. Then I'm doing bathroom caulk. Then I'm mudding, and then I'm sealing all the
Doing
cracks.
it right, yeah.
So everything's tight. Then I'm doing granite or maple tops.
Awesome.
In the things, and then I'm finding all my furniture on Marketplace, and I find high-end secondhand. So if it looks really good in the pictures and it's used furniture, it's going to hold up well.
Yeah, the good way to do that is like it's already held up over the last couple of years.
It's already held up at someone's home.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of flex steel. These are flex steel.
Okay.
It's So I find high-end brands in nice homes on Marketplace.
Awesome.
Again, flipping motorcycles, I'm buying furniture that way.
Are you still flipping motorcycles now?
No, I got tired. I got tired, and I think
there's a lot of motorcycles.
The market got saturated.
I think you sold too many motorcycles.
I saturated the
market. Hey, it's only like 3,000 people in the town, so yeah, it's easy to saturate.
Yeah.
How many people can own a motorcycle?
I think I could saturate the market with dining room tables and couches too.
Because Sturgis is only what, like a 15-hour drive from here.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
There you go.
But yeah, so like my philosophy is do well. Like I had this entertainment center here,
awesome,
custom built that matches the floating shelves in the bedroom over there.
Perfect.
So I try to do everything as high end as I possibly can because I want to get a good nightly rate.
Yeah, and I think that's so key. One of the other guests that we interviewed, like he goes the same route. He'll even put like a mural in each of his units.
Cool.
He'll pay a muralist, $1,500 to do a wall.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then I think one of the other things he said is like he always puts in a hot tub. Now his market's Des Moines.
Okay.
But he like always does a hot tub.
Yep.
Always does a mural. Get those iconic like things. I think it's great. Some of the amenities you have, like your guys' bed is like the super fancy, like folds up and all the.
We do a lot of adjustable beds.
Dude, my wife's pregnant right now.
Oh,
and so
congrats!
She loves. It was very comfortable.
Yeah.
Being able to get the right position.
Yeah.
And then even we were enjoying earlier. You got like an Xbox and things like that. So really giving a lot of great amenities, even on a smaller unit like this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right on. So you got, let's do a recap. You got first house.
Yep.
Then you did a duplex.
Yep.
Then you did another house.
Yep.
And then you did another duplex.
Yep.
And now what are you doing?
Then we did.
That's 6 units.
Then we bought a house in between on the same block.
Okay. Same block.
A single family. And I was walking between the houses, and this guy was mowing the grass, and I didn't recognize him. And I was like, "Hey, are you selling this house?" And he was like, "Yes, me and my brother are selling this house."
Did you know that he was selling it?
Well, the ambulance was there, and the guy from the like the morgue was there.
So you recognized the guy from the morgue.
So
you saw an ambulance.
So then the son was there mowing the grass, and so I just put 2 and 2 together that maybe the house was going to be for sale. And so I was like, "Are you selling this house?" And the guy's like, "Yes, me and my brother are actually. It's listed on for sale by owner. Let me call my brother." I go. I want to see it. I'm in house buying mode. I want
just walking down the block.
I want to see it.
Hey. So you're quite literally an ambulance chaser at this point, buying a house because you saw an ambulance and then the mortician showed up.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yep. So then, because this is a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
And
which this happens a lot where, say a relative passes away, they give the house to the sons or the kids, and the kids just don't want it.
Right.
And so this is really, which is, you're on bigger pockets, you understand this is a thing that happens normally. It's not like you're quite literally chasing ambulance. You're just like, I know this happens a lot. I saw the ambulance here the other night. Looking to sell?
Are you looking to sell?
Yeah.
And they were. So I was like, well, I'd like to see the house. I said, I'm an investor in the area and I'm buying houses. And he was like, yeah. And so lo and behold, the lady that shows up to show me the house is a gal I used to work with. Okay. It's her husband and her husband's brother that are selling the house, and they wanted a little bit too much for the house than what I was willing to pay.
Sure.
It's a smaller house.
Yep.
And so I just said, this is what my price is. This is what I'm willing to pay for the house. But let me know. And they waited like 2 or 3 months, and we ended up agreeing to a price, and I bought it June of 2020. And we put 20% down on that. Awesome. I think we paid $92,500 for it.
Oh, so $1,800 or $18,000. Yep. There you go. Awesome.
So then that became a long-term tenant.
Okay, so you did a traditional rental with that.
Yep.
Got it.
And it's a pretty small, unique space.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. Let me see. Yeah, it just made sense to do. I think we were tired of the short term. We were kind of tapped out, and we were just.
You had a lot that you were doing at that point.
We had a lot that we were doing, and we were doing. Well, let me see here. That was in 2020, and that was June of 2020. So also COVID was going on.
Yep, June's kind of right after it hit America. Yeah.
Awesome. So it was just like, let's do a long-term tenant here.
Yeah.
And then a realtor came to me, and they were like, this guy's in California. He has a triplex with a house in the backyard, and he wants to sell. He wants $70,000. And I went and looked at it, and I was like, it's not worth $70,000.
Ooh.
And I was like, let me know when he wants to get rid of it for $30,000. Well, he came back to me, and I ended up in December of 2020 for $30,000. I bought a triplex with a house in the backyard.
So a quadplex-ish.
I bought a quad for $30,000 cash. And I still have it.
How much did it take to get this thing up and running?
So I still have it.
Okay.
I have a tenant in the lower unit and a tenant in the back, which I adopted. So when I bought the unit in December of 2020, I still have the tenants that are in it. I raised their rent to where it was worth it for me to keep it, and I just kept it as is.
Okay. So you have 2 tenants in there. Is it still just the 2?
Still just the 2.
But you bought it for $30,000, so you have no mortgage payment.
No mortgage.
And so it's like, well.
So
maybe we'll do something with it later.
I think I'll do something with it later.
Awesome. There you go.
But in order, because there's no furnace and there's no plumbing in the upper 2nd and 3rd floor of the triplex, I would have to unhouse someone
to really gut it and make sure
to get a furnace and get everything up.
So maybe if one of the tenants inside leaves, so you have one tenant downstairs and is the other one in that backyard,
and the other one's in the backyard.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just have a hard time unhousing people. I've never unhoused a tenant.
Nice.
I've adopted tenants, and I've always kept them.
That's awesome.
That's always been our philosophy. So that was that one. And then I was out of down payment money, but I was over at a house that was next to the Dairy Queen, and it got completely renovated. And I went over there, and I met with the contractor, and I was like, can you get me in contact with the seller? I want to buy this house. And so I got in contact with the seller, the person flipping the house, and it turned into this beautiful build. And I convinced her, because she also had a staging company, I convinced her to furnish the house for Airbnb. So I bought the house completely furnished for $160,000, and then I found another person to come in and partner with me and bring the down payment money, and we 50-50 split it.
There you go.
And so so that was March of 2021. For $160,000, I bought a fully furnished, brand new renovated house.
$160,000.
Yeah.
And $160,000 included all the furniture.
Yeah.
And was it 160, 20% down on that
20%
one? Yeah,
down.
there you go. There you go, man.
And that one we just sold in January 2024.
A lot of these deals, you're just kind of walking by, and then you just walk up to them and chat with the person there and
Yep.
make it happen. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
Lot the salesman comes out. I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm. And then this house we bought, I had another realtor friend who knew I was buying houses, and this house was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
It had a tenant in it that over COVID stopped paying the rent.
Okay.
And the landlord was like, I am done with this house.
Yeah, screw
and it
this guy.
had the basement issues I was telling you about, and
Yep.
just
Foundation issues.
foundation issues, and
Oof.
yuck, crawl space, and all that fun stuff. So I ended up buying this one for like 58
Okay.
in March of 2021, right at the same time I bought the other one.
Yeah, because how big is this? Like 1,000 square feet or something?
Yeah, like 8 something.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. How'd you get? What was the story with the tenant? How did you get them out?
So
Because it's Airbnb now.
it was someone that I knew.
Oh.
And that knew of me. And I showed up and I said, you'll be out. Like, I'm buying this. You'll be out when I close. And they were like, yep, I'll be out when you close. And I showed up and they weren't out when I closed.
Okay.
And I showed up with my truck and I was like, we're going to be out today.
We will help you move.
And I showed up and some of the football players from the high school showed up and we got the stuff out. And we went to the storage unit and we dropped it off. And I was like, nope, I'm not dealing with this.
Because I feel like he could have called the cops. So it was just the relationship you had with the tenant because you knew him already?
Yeah.
Essentially? It was like, come on, man.
I was like, this is not how we're not going to play this game.
That's good. And this really comes to like just being able to approach people, have conversations with people, and you obviously had relationships with people. It's not like you don't care about them.
Right.
But it's also a dick move to just sit there and not pay rent when someone else has a mortgage payment to make.
Right.
It's like, come on, man, don't do that to the people in this town. Especially a small, tight knit community like this.
Yeah.
No. Awesome. So at this point, you have your 8 units, and I know where did the management come into place? Where you started managing other people's Airbnbs? So
the word got out. Realtors. So one realtor, it was his mom and dad had a really nice property on the lake, on Lake Superior, and they were like, we want this done professionally. And I was like, we're getting more per night than the average. This is my numbers. This is what we can do. And he's like, my parents need you to run their Airbnb. So we got that listing. And then another realtor met with this gal, and she was wanting to sell, but not wanting to sell. And she was like, well, why don't you Airbnb these 2 units? It was a house and a guest house. Why don't you Airbnb these units? Talk to Joel and Chelsea. She talked to us. We Airbnb both our units for her. And then a cottage. Then there was like, I don't know if it was like 9 or 12 cottages got a hold of us. And we ran all the cottages on the North Shore down between here and Duluth.
Yep, and they're talking about
North Shore cottages. And then, so we ran that for them.
So was that normally just like a hotel or a rent by the lodge? Like it was kind of like a different business, but then they adapted it for Airbnb.
Yeah, we put them up on Airbnb and ran that for them. And
what do these agreements look like? Like what percentage are you taking? What are you responsible for versus what is the owner responsible for?
So it can be per property dependent.
Okay. It's negotiated.
Yeah. But a lot of it is we're handling all the platform, we're handling all the communication, we're handling all the bookings, we're handling all the questions, we're handling all the, so really all the business stuff we're handling. When we're handling all the cleaning communications.
Are you buying the furniture, or are they buying the furniture?
Typically, they're in charge of all the furniture.
Yep.
They're in charge of the toilet paper and the consumables.
You kind of have like a joint account that you guys share where you get the money in and then they pay for things.
Yeah, like they would ship. Maybe they would like Amazon ship stuff to the properties.
You just kind of let them know when things need to get delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Right on, man. And then how many did you get to?
We got up to 24 units that we were in charge of.
And okay, so you got, which we first met when you had 13, which at that point you still had a full-time job.
I had a full-time job.
And you were running 13 Airbnbs on your phone.
Yep.
And I know you had like 2 handymen full-time.
Yep, we have maintenance team. We have an incredible team, and we've built an incredible team of cleaners. We've had a total of 24 stay-at-home mom or grandmas.
That's awesome.
In our community that we've hired for cleaning.
And you use the Turnover B&B
Turnover B&B, which is called Turno.
Turno
now.
Okay, so and describe what that app does, and then what this relationship is like with your staff, the cleaning staff.
Yeah, so the staff has a Turno app on their phone, and Airbnb booking comes in, and it creates a cleaning task at the property, and it alerts the cleaning staff, and then the cleaning staff assigns themselves to the cleaning on the date that the cleaning needs to get done at the property.
Kind of like an Uber app, so to speak.
It's like an Uber app.
Yeah.
And the cleaners assign themselves to the cleanings that they want to clean. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that technology has been insanely helpful for us because it was a nightmare when it used to be a spreadsheet and text messages and phone calls trying to figure out who's going to clean what.
These guys coming in. Yeah. Now it's just automatically sent out to everybody.
Now it's all automated.
That's awesome.
We know what cleanings are covered, what cleanings aren't covered. So me and Chelsea will go do a cleaning if we have to.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep.
And how often did that typically happen where you couldn't get something covered?
A couple times a week we're cleaning.
Yeah, and it'll take a couple hours or whatever you go in and you clean things up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And what other technology you guys use to run these Airbnbs when you got 24 of these? What sort of technology do you guys like to use to kind of make it easier on yourselves?
We use OwnerRez.
What's that?
OwnerRez is a software that is writing our reviews for us. It's sending out emails for us. It's communicating to guests, check-in instructions for us. It's
very cool.
It's essentially the engine that keeps everything moving without us having to hit a button.
Yeah, so when we booked, we got sent a text of like, oh, hey, thank you for booking. Here's the information. Here's the door code, that sort of thing. So that's all handled by that software.
Yep.
And you said writing reviews. Is that responding to reviews, or are you writing your own reviews for yourself?
It's writing the reviews for us.
How does that work?
So when after someone stays at one of our properties, it will write the review about the guest for us.
Oh, the guest reviews. Got it.
Yep, okay. The guest reviews.
I was like, are you reviewing your own properties?
No, we're not reviewing.
You got to send me the software. I got to use it at the hotel.
No, but you have to review the guests after they leave.
Yep.
And they review us.
That's awesome. So you don't have to review everything.
So I don't have to go in and hit all the buttons. It does it for us. So there's a lot of automations that it helps us with, because when you're running so many properties, to sit there and after so many stays, it just is like,
it's huge pain.
So many buttons.
To write a review for 13 guests who moved out today. It's like, give me a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. So it's OwnerRez, Turnover B&B,
and Price Labs.
Price Labs. Oh,
Price Labs is used for pricing adjustments.
I love that.
Yep. So in busy seasons, it raises our rates, and slow seasons, it lowers our rates.
And just kind of automatically just monitors all the Airbnb data.
Yep.
Of like, so if a bunch of other people start raising their rates on a given day, it'll just kind of go in there and do it for you.
Yep.
We have a similar software for the hotel. Wyndham it's called RevIQ, but it's basically the exact same thing, where they look at other properties in the area. We can select comp properties, and then it'll automatically a couple times a day adjust rates.
Yep.
That's awesome. Right on, man.
So technology is a huge
it's your friend,
helper.
100%. But sometimes I'm even jealous with Airbnb, with the hotel versus Airbnbs, is that you're able to automate a lot of this stuff. Whereas I have a lot of physical staff on the property all the time, which is great. We have our cleaners, and we have our maintenance staff and front desk staff. But it's like, you guys don't need front desk staff because Yeah, there's no front desk, but then you're also using your software to send all the emails and get people checked in. That's all done automatically.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
I love it. Maybe I should go and do all the automated door locks on the whole property and just they actually have an app where it's like you can get it on your phone, and if you get the right locks, where you can tap to unlock.
Okay.
And so it's like remote check-in, but
Okay.
we haven't got that yet.
Yeah.
Very jealous of all the systems you have in place. Very cool.
It took us a while, and I remember when Airbnb, before we had owner res, I remember when Airbnb allowed the technology to automate messaging, and I was like one of the first guinea pigs. So anytime Airbnb was like, "Hey, there's a beta technology, you can try this, you can try this," I was one of the first people to go in and try different things and set things up with them. So
what do you have to do to get that sort of permission? Is it just?
It was how many properties we were running,
very nice.
and then being willing to say yes, I'm willing to try setting up different things.
Awesome, dude. That's crazy. And so you got all the software in place, which has been great. You got at the point you had like 24 Airbnbs you're running.
Yep.
So when did you say, okay, this is maybe a little bit too much?
It organically just slowed. Yep. The cottages took over themselves. Mm-hmm. People kind of phased out, and it was just like, this was a good thing. It needed to.
You and your wife looked at each other like, this is good.
It got too crazy.
So when did you? I know you're no longer employed at that first company you were working at when we first talked.
Yep.
So at what point in that process did you end up going full time?
Full time with just the properties?
Yeah.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And was this when there was 24 Airbnbs, or was this after it kind of all died down?
No, after it kind of died down.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what was that step like for you, man?
It was scary to take the leap and to go, well, did we do enough? Because the Two Harbors put a kibosh on how many Airbnb permits were allowed in the community, and they made it harder and more expensive to have the permits, which has been kind of difficult on us, and that's unfortunate. We believe this is a good thing for the community. We employ a lot of people. We have amazing maintenance helpers, and our team has been incredible. We have an amazing amount of cleaners. We've hired a ton of local people to help fix up the dilapidated homes in this community. And so it kind of was a gut check to have
the city that you poured into.
The city that we poured into respond in a negative way to the business that we were building.
Yeah, because you had told me with this property where all the lumber is from Two Harbors trees.
Yeah, all the lumber is Two Harbors trees, cut down by Two Harbors people, milled at a Two Harbors mill, installed by Two Harbors badass workers. Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I'm glad to see that you continue to do well, regardless.
Yeah.
And so you've essentially kept the portfolio you already had.
Yeah, we kept it where we
licensing in place.
Got the licensing. We were grandfathered in, essentially.
Got it. So at this point, if you wanted to buy another Airbnb, you couldn't.
None of our properties would be able to be done again.
What's the limitation? So what was the kind of the policy put in place that
you have to have an Airbnb in a business zoned neighborhood, not residentially zoned neighborhood.
Okay.
And so that would be closer to downtown.
Now, are there even houses in the area?
There are. There are some. Yeah,
okay.
there are. Or 7th Avenue, and then 7th Avenue, Highway 61.
Okay.
Those houses
if qualify. They're on 61.
If they're on 61, they qualify as well.
Which that's the main road coming into town. And I've stayed at one of your Airbnbs on that road, remember? Yeah.
Yep.
Was that the duplex? Or was that the
Red House?
Yeah, the Red House.
The Red House. So that was the one that we bought with the partners.
Oh, that's right. There you go. When you approach the contractor for.
Yep.
There you go. Awesome. All right. So you quit your job. You're full-time Airbnb host. What was that period of time like?
It was a little stressful, but really fun. It was time to rekindle family time.
Awesome.
Spend time with the family, spend time with my wife and kids, and focus on that. And then I was able to. I wanted to get out of the house and do some more meeting with people. I love people. I love solving problems. I love helping people. And so I started working for Leaf Filter and selling gutters and gutter protection about 3 months ago, and that's been really fun.
Congrats. That's
Thanks.
awesome. This is the great part of entrepreneurship, or a great part of investing and financial independence, is not that you can go sit on the beach,
Right.
but it just work is an option.
Right.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Right on, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, kind of looking back at what you've done, what would be some good advice as people who are watching and they see what you've done and they may want to do something similar? What is some good advice for someone who's getting started?
Yeah. When you find, so there's always an opportunity in real estate, and
Mm-hmm.
so I was always looking for that opportunity, and when you find that opportunity, take advantage of it. Like like study enough and be financially ready enough that when you see the opportunity, take advantage of it and take the leap of faith and do it. And then I think that's one of the scary things in real estate is like
It's not like there's like a light that shines on it.
right.
You have to
You have
like,
to believe in yourself.
well, you have to believe in yourself. You mentioned education, which is
Mm-hmm.
huge,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have to use that education. So it's like, okay, I read this book, and I saw that you can buy these foreclosures, and then I can fix it up, and then you see the house opportunity come up, and then you got to just tell yourself, I can do this,
Mm-hmm.
and also you have to prepare yourself to get ready for however you want to go about buying it as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But
And you build a team around yourself. So you build a relationship with your banker. You build a relationship with the workers. You build a relationship with your, whoever's the finances, whoever your, you know, you build yourself a team that you can trust.
mm,
Because having a team, your insurance person, everyone, it takes a team to build what it takes to build. So
this whole portfolio that you have,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Hmm.
Um, if you were to start over, how would you go about kind of building this up again?
I would I would go into a community that had dilapidated houses that had I would find a community similar, and I would go at the government level, and I would build a case for what the community could become if they were behind um,
Mm,
if they were behind a movement of repairing the dilapidated homes in the community and turning it into a vacation destination. I think that if you have buy-in from the community,
mm,
and then you get everyone excited about the movement of what it can become, you create income, you create um,
jobs.
jobs, you create a community that people are proud of, and it can do wonders. Vacation homes, this vacation business is an amazing business. I think it can do amazing things for communities.
That's awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a great way because you had mentioned kind of the issues that you've had now with the current local government, and so you're saying that you're going in, you're getting the buy-in first before
Mm-hmm.
you're spending all this time investing into it,
Yeah,
and
I
so
get I get a
the
community gung ho.
community is ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I'd find a
That's awesome.
community that's just like ready, that wants it, and then I'd go crazy. Mm-hmm.
Buy 24 houses and buy 13 houses in
I'd
24 months.
and I'd get investors, and I would just go huge, and I
Mm-hmm.
knowing what I would knowing and I would just knowing what I would do it not for the money, I would do it for the community.
Yep.
Like, and that's what we built here. I always tell people that our mission was to build hope, healing, and restoration for people, places, and things,
That's
because
awesome.
this community brought healing and hope to me and my wife and my kids. We moved from the inner city of Milwaukee to here, and
Mm-hmm.
this place was a place of healing for us. And so we know that vacationers and the people coming up to
Mm-hmm.
um, bury their loved ones, people are coming up to vacation, people are coming up to hike, people are coming up to for their anniversaries, people are coming up for their weddings, people are coming up and they're receiving healing here. And so we wanted to build these vacation homes for people to have an amazing space to find that. And so that's our heart has been about that. And so to bring restoration to a community,
Mm-hmm.
to provide spaces for people to have healing, like that's what our heart has always been about. And so I feel like we've been misunderstood in this community, and that's so it's nice to have a platform to get the word out.
That's awesome.
So I
Well, as
appreciate this.
someone who on my third and now fifth wedding anniversary, I came up and rented your Airbnbs.
Oh,
I
sweet.
definitely appreciate it. And we definitely see the opportunity, and we see the blessing you guys are providing. So we appreciate that.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Joel. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say before we log off?
I think that real estate is an amazing vehicle for people to become financially free and or find financial independence. I think that it's difficult. I think that it can be hard, and I think that you need people around you that can cheerlead you on. And so find a few people in your life that can encourage you while you're on your journey. But it is a journey worth going on.
Awesome. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate you
Cool.
coming on.
Thank you.
There you go. That's it.
Awesome.
Painless. Painless.